what's going on, guys? Welcome to this new video. So today we're out here at TNT Guns and Range, one of my favorite ranges in Utah. If you didn't see this video, go make sure to check it out. This place is awesome. The staff here is awesome, super knowledgeable, great selection, and an awesome place to shoot. Their information and website and everything like that is down in the description below, so make sure to give them some love. So we're talking top 3 best first revolvers today. Now, I've done a lot of top list videos. I did top 3 best first handguns, and I didn't include any revolvers. I don't have many videos on revolvers, but that's not to say that I don't like revolvers. So I wanted to make a video just focused only on revolvers. Obviously, they're super reliable. I mean, there's a lot of really good things about them that maybe some people just don't know about. So I wanted to do this video, just kind of give you my thoughts on the top 3 best. Obviously, there's tons and tons of options out there. These are just the top 3 that I think are a really good route if you want to go that revolver route for your first handgun. All right, so first up we have the Ruger SP-101 chambered in .357 mag. This is a great gun. It's really versatile, and that's why I like it so much. I mentioned in my top 3 best first handguns, a lot of first-time gun owners, they really want a gun that can do it all, that they can concealed carry, that they can shoot at the range comfortably, that they can have for home defense, that they can be proud of. I mean, a gun that really kind of is the jack of all trades. And while that's dang near impossible to find, I think this is a pretty good compromise. So the Ruger SP-101 has a 4.2 inch barrel, which I really like. I don't like showing new shooters the really like snub-nosed, really lightweight revolvers because they kick so much, man. They beat you up, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So I like to get a little more heft on the gun, especially for new shooters. So this 4.2 inch barrel will certainly do that. It's a stainless steel frame, so it's gonna take up a lot of that recoil as well and be a lot more smooth shooting. The grip is nice. It's a small grip, so it's kind of awkward if you have huge hands, but we'll get into more of that later. But it's nice because it's all rounded, it's rubber. You can also switch these out. There are a couple of different grips that you can put on here, but it's not a metal grip, so it doesn't dig into your hand at all. It's very nice and soft rubber. Another thing I like about it is it comes stock with fiber optic sights. So your rear sight is adjustable, and then your front is a bright green fiber optic. So if you're shooting like outdoors, that thing will really pop. Indoors, it just gives you a nice contrast between your blacked out rear sights and that green fiber optic. So really cool option. So this thing has a 5-shot capacity for .357 Magnum. One of the reasons I really like .357 mag for new shooters is because it'll also take 38 special. 38 special rounds are just a lighter load if you're not familiar with it. They're a lot easier to shoot, so you can practice and get used to it with 38, and when you're ready for it, when you feel confident enough, you can step up to that .357, which has a lot more power behind it, and then really kind of practice for maybe those concealed carry situations or something like that. But otherwise, just shooting 38s through this is cheaper and it's a lot smoother. So anyways, 5 shots. You do lose 1 shot from the traditional 6-shot revolvers because it's a little bit smaller frame. You know, this one, like I said, is a good compromise. It's designed to be a little bit smaller so that you could use it in concealed carry situations, but still large enough to be able to shoot comfortably. It's about 30 ounces, I believe, empty. So this does have a triple locking system, which is great. All that really means is it's keeping your cylinder a lot more stable, so it can't go back and forth, and you're not going to have any issues with the cylinder getting out of place. And that brings us to the big point of revolvers, right? They're the most reliable handgun out there. There's absolutely nothing that's automatically moving that can jam up. I mean, if you shoot and something doesn't go bang, just pull the trigger again. You know what I mean? It's going to rotate that cylinder and fire again. So it's a great setup, especially if you're one of those people who's just maybe not sure about manipulating a slide on a semi-auto, or you're just kind of uncomfortable with the idea that something could go wrong, you know, it could jam or something like that. With revolvers, just pull and go bang. Just pull that trigger. So I should mention the action on this thing is double or single action. So that double action trigger is nice and stiff, you know, I mean, it's a long pull. If you pull that hammer back, you've got a very crisp single action trigger pull. So if you're at the range, you want to do some target shooting, see if you can hit real nice bullseyes, that single action is a great option. And the double action is certainly stiff enough to where you don't have to worry about it going off on accident. You know, if you've got it in a holster, you've got it in a purse or something like that, that thing is not pulling without some intentional force on the trigger. So yeah, man, it's a fantastic gun. The only downside I would say to this gun is that the grip is a little small, you know, it's a little, maybe it's a little uncomfortable, like I said, if you have bigger hands or something like that. So I did want to show you guys another option. I will mention, I hate to really mention price in these videos because there's so much variability based on where you are, when you're seeing this, all that stuff, but I did want to mention at least a ballpark price. So right now, as of December 13th, 2016, TNT Guns and Ammo in Utah has this thing listed for $599.99. So that at least gives you a ballpark on what you can expect. Now I did want to mention just an alternate option for this gun. So this is the Ruger SP101 and this is the Ruger GP100. So this thing is a beast, you know, it's big, the grip is huge, it feels really, really comfortable. If you've got big hands, man, you can just manhandle this gun. I love the feel of it. It's just a lot bigger and beefier all around. It does have 6 shots, so you're getting all 6 of those shots. You lose the front fiber optic, but you've still got an adjustable rear sight here. It's a very, very similar gun. The biggest differences are that it's just bulkier. So if you've got bigger hands, concealed carry isn't as big of a concern for you. You know, you just want a gun to be able to shoot at the range a little more reliably, have something in your what's that called? Your nightstand. You want to have something in your nightstand, you want to have something in your car, whatever it is. This gun is fantastic. But again, you're giving up some of that concealability for a little more comfort. The GP100 is listed for $650 at TNT Guns and Ammo right now, so $50 difference. It's getting a little toasty in here, so I had to take off the hoodie. But anyways, moving on to our second option, we have the very, very famous, I think everyone knows this one. This is the Smith & Wesson 686, but this model is the Plus. So it's their L frame. It's a very, very popular frame, very often used by like law enforcement, hunters and stuff like that. This thing is meant to stand up to some serious abuse and last you literally forever. This is one of those guns that you can pass down from generation to generation, firing magnums through it all along the way, and it's just built to last. This thing is kind of a legacy, but one of the big differences is it's got 7 shots in the cylinder, so it's really awesome. This thing is as well chambered in .357 Magnum. I really like that chambering again because it gives you the option to shoot both .357 Mag and .38 Special. So yeah, again, you're practicing at the range, you want to just get a little more smoother shot, or you're maybe new to shooting and kind of want to warm up. .38 Special is a great place to start, still packs a lot of punch, and when you're ready, step up to that .357 and get an awful lot of power out of it. We've got a stainless steel frame once again, so it's a nice heavy gun. It's not so heavy that it's going to drag you down, but it's heavy enough certainly that it's still going to be comfortable enough to shoot those .357 rounds out of. Your sights here, you've got an adjustable rear sight. Again, it's got a white U on it, so it's not pure blacked out. And then on the front sight, you've got this kind of bright orange spot, which provides you a lot of contrast. And then the grip here, the grip is a really nice kind of in between that Ruger SP101 and the GP101 I showed before. This one is kind of right in between. I really like it because it still has those finger grooves. It still fits your hand real good, and you know, if you've got a big hand, you can still get your hand on it comfortably. But it's not so big that if you have smaller hands, it might be a little too big, or it's not so big that it becomes cumbersome to carry around and portability starts to lack. Overall, the Smith & Wesson 686 Plus is a fantastic, fantastic option for your first gun. Like I said, it's built to last. You've got 7 rounds in the cylinder. I think that's a huge selling point that needs to be restated. The 7 rounds is a big thing, especially if you're carrying or something like that, or maybe you're hunting or something and you need it for protection. 7 rounds of .357 Mag is a lot more than 5 rounds. You know, 5 to 7 doesn't seem like that big of a difference, but those 2 extra rounds could be the difference between life and death. So, and then that trigger, once again, we are double and single action on this revolver. So for double action, I can pull this through, and again, it's very stiff. It's not gonna go off without some intentional force being put on that trigger, but it's a little bit lighter, I feel like, than the SP101. The trigger feels a little bit smoother and lighter on that double action pull. And then your single action pull is incredibly crisp. Price-wise, this thing is a little bit spendier. TNT Guns and Ammo in Utah has this thing listed for $759.99. So a little bit on the spendier side, but again, like I said, this thing is built to last. You can hand this down to your kids, they can hand it down to their kids, and this thing will still just keep on firing, I'm sure of it. All right, so before we get into our third and final option, I do want to mention one thing. This option is not meant for people looking for their very first handgun and for it to be a revolver. This is for someone who's familiar with firearms, who's actually quite confident and quite experienced in firearms, but they're looking for their first revolver. So with that being said, we're talking about the Ruger LCR lightweight revolver. Now this thing is less than half of the weight of that first Ruger SP101. It was around 30 ounces. This thing is 13 ounces. So this thing is crazy light. The body is made out of an aerospace grade aluminum. As you can see here, the cylinder is heavily fluted to keep down weight. Everything on this thing is just all about weight management, and it's intended obviously for concealed carry. You'll also notice there's no hammer back here, so it's going to be a double action only. I'll go into more of that in just a second, but because of that concealed hammer, you know, if you're carrying this in your pocket or as like an ankle gun or something like that, the last thing you want is a hammer snagging on something. So this thing is just pure pull and shoot. The one trade-off you're gonna get with this, you know, with it being so light and so small, is the recoil is gonna be substantially more noticeable. This thing hurts. So that's why I say I really don't recommend these kinds of guns for first-time shooters, because if you're not familiar with your fundamentals, these things aren't going to be fun to shoot at the range. However, if you're an experienced shooter, this gun is fantastic for what it's meant to do, which is that concealed carry market. So like I said, 13 ounces, it's an aluminum frame. It does still have a stainless steel barrel and cylinder just for kind of reliability and stuff like that. The barrel itself is just under 2 inches, so super tiny. The barrel holds 5 rounds. Now this gun isn't chambered in .357 mag. It's chambered in .38 Special plus P, so it's still rated for those plus P rounds, which is great again for concealed carry. The grip is really comfortable. It's that rubber kind of Hogue style, you know, finger grooves. The one thing about it is it's much shorter, so you can't really get your pinky on there. At least I can't. It's made for kind of 2 fingers and then, you know, your 1 finger up here near the trigger. So that pinky you just kind of have to tuck under or something like that. But again, it's all in that service of concealability. So for sights, there isn't really a rear sight. You just got this big groove kind of going along the top of the gun, and then the front sight is a ramp sight with a big white bar for contrast. So with this thing being hammerless, that means it's going to be double action only, so that trigger pull is going to be the same every time. It's going to be that longer, harder first pull every time you pull the trigger. So if we pull this trigger right now, but as you can see, that trigger pull isn't atrocious. It's not so long that it's throwing off your aim or something like that if you're at the range. So yeah, there really isn't a ton to talk about on this. I do want to reiterate that recoil is going to be substantially more noticeable with this gun, so make sure that you're comfortable with that. I would not recommend this for a very first time handgun. Price-wise, right now TNT Guns has this gun listed for $450. I did want to mention another option that Smith & Wesson does have their own lightweight revolver. They call it their Model 642 Airweight. So as you can see, this thing is very similar to the Ruger, kind of a different shape, a little bit different grip, stuff like that, but overall the same mentality. It's still an aluminum body. It's about 14 ounces. Barrel's just under 2 inches again. The difference is on this one, I don't know if Ruger offers one of these options or not, but I couldn't find it. I do know the Smith does give you the option of a concealed hammer. So rather than being strictly double action only, this one still has that hammer, so it's a concealed one though, so it's not going to like snag on your pants or whatever. Again, if you're doing pocket carry, it's not anything that's going to snag. However, it gives you that option to still be able to pull that thing back and have a single action pull. Same basic setup though, 5 rounds, .38 Special plus P. The grip is a little bit smaller and the back kind of contours a little bit differently to fit some different sized hands. This one is going for $410, so about $40 cheaper, if that makes a difference to you. However, same thing applies. This recoil is going to be much more substantial than the others. So I would not recommend this. I see a lot of like husbands getting this for their wife for their first time handgun, or ladies going in and buying this as their first time handgun because it's cute and it looks easy to shoot, but it's not. Please keep that in mind. But for what it's meant to do, which is that very portable concealability, this is one of the best ones in the game. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, please hit that thumbs up button and leave me a comment down below. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What are your top 3 choices for the top 3 best first revolvers? Thanks again for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more good stuff coming. Share this video if you think someone else might benefit from it. And if you haven't seen these other 2 videos, please check them out. We'll see you next time on Greenlight Shooting.